Record. Okay. All right, you guys, this is what we get. Welcome to our Team Fitspire call. Let's see if I can play this. Okay. April 30th. It is the last day of the month. So I really wanted to, this has not been updated for two or 3 days. This was the one I made on Thursday, or a couple days ago. So it hasn't been updated, but I wanted to just shout some people out. I wanted you guys to see where you're at. I want you to comment in the group right now if you have changed your numbers and hit Success Club since this has changed. So blow up the chat. I'm hoping to see that a bunch of you guys have helped more people change more lives from, I think this was like a couple days ago. So I'm hoping that these numbers are going to change major when I redo it tomorrow, but I just didn't feel like doing it again today and then tomorrow. So this is where we're at from a couple days ago. Super, super excited to see lots of those names move over to the left side for SC5 and SC10. And I really wanted to do some special shout outs for Whitney, who just turned diamond. I think it was last week. So congrats to you. And then Al is going to be diamond on Thursday. So in 2 days, she's all set and ready to go, which is huge. She's been working on it for a while, and so has her team. So it's really, really awesome. Cece is 1-star qual. So I think this is week 1. So she'll be going through that qualification. That means they need to hold it for a full 6 weeks. And Danielle is 2-star qual, but 3 on Thursday when Al hits her diamond. So exciting and so awesome for these leaders that are not only, helping their business grow, but are helping now their leaders change their business and really kind of take it to the next level, because we've said it 100 times before, but I'll say it again. Diamond is just the foundation of where everything starts. Like, it really is just when things start for you. So very, very exciting for you girls. And I just want to shout out all the new coaches who have joined us, and that I know we have a lot of new coaches that are hitting Success Club right out of the gate, which is so incredible, and not hard. It's kind of just something that we are supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be hitting Success Club. We are supposed to be helping people change their lives with programs and products that have changed our lives. So Success Club is really just how we do that. It's just the baseline for it. So congrats to all of you guys. I'm excited to see this entire board change tomorrow. So I'll be updating it then when we can see everything go through. So congrats to you guys. Anyone who's in qualification, you guys, let's just make sure to hold it. That is like the tough part, when you have to really hold it. You can't, hitting a diamond doesn't mean anything if you drop it the next week or the next 2 weeks. Like, that's not really going to do anything for your income, for your business. Like, this is constantly about growing and moving forward, because if you are not moving forward, you're just going to be moving backwards, because none of our businesses are built off of all business builders. We have lots of discount coaches and stuff. So you have to continue inviting and just continuing to build your team. You can never get stuck in one place, because that's more of just going to move you backwards. Okay. Headlines. So I announced this in the team page. We have Summit in a couple months now. It's crazy that that's happening. I got to register so if you guys, most of you have not been to Summit before, but basically every other year we had to register for certain tracks. Now you're all going to be placed in certain tracks based on where you're at in your business, but you do need to register for the workouts. So this is my favorite part of Summit and all of the live events that we have, where you get to do a live workout with the trainers. So I registered for Friday at 7:15, Sean T. These ones, like, all of them are going to just fill up quickly. So especially the best of the best trainers. So when you get your email, which I think most of you guys will get it on Monday, to just do that right away. And you can hopefully get into Sean T if you want to do Autumn's, if you want to do Chris's, they're all amazing and they're all super fun. And it doesn't matter if you're with a huge group or not. Definitely get yourself registered. And if you are not registered for Summit, you guys, Kate can probably attest to this. Her and I met last year. We were both new coaches of 5 months. And I mean, it will change everything for you. And I've said it millions of times. I'll say it 1,000,001 times. Go to Summit, get your butt to Summit. It is honestly should be a non-negotiable unless you have a wedding or like something so specific that you literally cannot be there. You will be there. If you want to build your business, you will be there. And of course, unless you have certain circumstances. Like I'm going a week and a half before my wedding. Like I will not miss this. If I'm pregnant, if I have a child on the way, like this is something that is really important. And unless you've experienced it and been there, it's hard to really fully understand because you're like, oh, I have to, I don't want to buy my ticket and flight, but like every penny and every single minute that you spend there will be worth it. Okay, moving on. Diamond Retreat. So we're doing this. We've already announced it like in October. We haven't specifically picked a date, but this is a push because a couple of the leaders on the team, we're doing a huge Arizona retreat. We're getting like an awesome mansion and we want every single person to be there. We want this to be, we went on a retreat last year. There was like, I think 30 of us. It was incredible. It was so fun. And we want you guys to be there. So your big push to Diamond is by June 6th. And then obviously you have to hold that for 6 weeks. We are making exceptions after that. If you don't hit Diamond, like we're going to kind of see what we're working with and see who, we still is ready to come and all that. But this is like your guaranteed spot to come. And keep in mind that it is all paid for, the house, the food, everything. You just have to get there. So definitely should be incentive to work your butt off if it's not a loan for your business. So last thing, I'm doing a coach info session. Like I said, I'm doing it tomorrow. I've just been running them, you guys, like every 2 weeks. You are more than welcome to throw people in there. It's in the team page. But of course, like we've talked about before, you should start thinking about running your own. If you are, in this business for a couple months now, you can start thinking about doing that. But of course, if someone wants more information and you need to throw them somewhere, that is always available to you guys. Okay. Now, the queen. I wanted to announce Kate. You guys have literally heard me talk about her lots. I know you guys probably know who she is, so needs no intro, but I'll do just a little bit right here. So Kate's been a coach for a little over a year. Her and I pretty much started, I think she was a couple months after me, and she said it last night. We both were like running from day one. We were like kind of together the entire year. We didn't really know each other very well, but like we just knew we were both brand new and we ran towards everything. So it's really cool to see someone else who's had such crazy success and in such a different way. We are completely different. We come from different backgrounds, different experiences, and she's going to kind of share a little bit about that. But it's just really cool because it kind of squashes any self-limiting beliefs of, oh, she's successful, but I can't be, or she has this and she does this and I don't, so I think it's really cool to just see how different people can be successful in their own way. So she's been a coach for a little over a year, 7-star in her first CBC, 3-star in her second CBC. She has 14 diamonds in her downline, which is crazy. And it's just so cool. Obviously she's doing everything right. She hit elite last year. Oh my God, that's 17 in the network. She's currently 7 in the network, not 17, 7. I don't know where that one came from. You guys, she's 7 in the network right now. So in 1 year, literally. And anyone can do that. So I just am excited to hear from her. She will drop all the bombs. You guys take notes. And also I loved her team yesterday. They were blowing up the chat. And I know she talks about that. I'm like, it was so fun. So get engaged, type stuff in the chat. They don't have to be questions, but it was just fun to have that encouragement. And I know she enjoys it too. And it was just awesome. So let's be active listeners, and I'm just pumped for her. So let me get off this stop share and then I will let her take it away. Hold on. There we go. Stop share. Okay. Go, girlfriend.
Cool. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, if you guys could get hype in the chat, that helps me a lot. I just got done working out. I just literally just finished cardio core, and I'm trying to breathe. My face is all red and tingly still from my sweat. So hype me up a little because I'm dying. So, but I always get super I'm gonna talk to you guys about my story, but I'm also gonna talk to you about mindset, because I feel that's what this business is. It's 95% mindset. You guys are so nice. That's why I have a hat on. My hair also stays curled for days. So it's just my hair is magic. Like I will say that is the one thing that I will never want to change is my hair. But so like Jamie said, her and I come from like totally different backgrounds, which I love. Like you guys, I hated fitness, like hated it, like with a passion. I worked at a gym in college and didn't go to it. Like it was, I loved being active. Like my coach said it perfectly today. She said I was an athlete, but I hated fitness. And that's like how I was. I grew up playing sports my whole life. I was varsity volleyball, varsity cheerleading. I was like the cheerleading captain my senior year, track, softball, basketball, like all the things, all the sports. And then cheerleader Kate, I was more of the dancer. Like I would say I was definitely more of a dancer. I actually went to college for dance. My freshman year, I was a dance major. That's kind of like where my story started with fitness was I went to college for dance and got hurt my freshman year. So I tore a ligament in my ankle during ballet class. And so that basically ended my career. It ended my dancing career. I then changed my major to athletic training. So then I was an athletic training student and I was on, I did sports like I was on college football, baseball, wrestling. So I was like their athletic training student. I did high school athletic training. And I loved it. I honestly did. I really love like the sports atmosphere. I love team sports. I love the competition, but like, don't ask me to go work out with you. Like I will be there to like tape your ankles and I will help you with the injuries and I'll play a pickup game of basketball. Like I was super into like intramurals. We had like an intramural softball team, intramural basketball, intramural volleyball. I was super into all of that. And then in college, I actually had a brain injury. So I was playing intramural basketball and I don't really remember what happened, kind of obviously, but I was apparently talking crap, surprise, to the girl playing against me and she pushed me and I fell backwards and hit my head on the gym floor and I don't remember anything after that, except for kind of like browned out for about 9 months. So there's about a chunk of college that I don't remember. I slept after that injury. I slept for like 64 hours straight, except for like getting up to like go to the bathroom. I just don't really remember a whole lot. I remember like I had to go to physical therapy for 9 months to help with like inner, like I was like very like off balance. So it was basically a concussion, but like it lasted so long, it turned into a mild traumatic brain injury. So then it was kind of like, I kind of think of it as like my blessing in disguise because it kind of turned me off of athletic training. It was like I, was super into athletic training and then I like hit my head and it was almost like it like woke me up that like that's not what I was supposed to be doing with my life. So then I actually graduated with my degree in athletic training, but I went back to school for teaching. So I like barely got a 3.0 with my athletic training. Like I still love athletics. I like shadowed surgeries. I thought it was so awesome and so fun, but I could not see myself doing it the rest of my life. Thought it was like a really fun college major because you like met a lot of people and like hung out with the athletes and stuff. But like, I just didn't want to tape ankles the rest of my life. And the hours suck. So went to school for teaching, graduated with my master's degree in education. 4.0 was the teacher that was going to change the world. Like I went into teaching, like every student that comes to my classroom is going to learn how to read. I'm going to be teacher of the year. Like this was like, my vision board surrounded around teaching. I was super, super, I only ever taught in low income areas. All my student teaching was in Title I. Then my first year of teaching, we moved to Los Angeles. I was teaching in Boyle Heights, which is Southeast LA, which is the projects in LA. That's where I've had my first year teaching position. And it was a wake up call to say the least. It was, going from not really having like worry about my weight or like, I never really had anxiety, to like all this stuff. And then all of a sudden like full blown anxiety, full blown, like I don't want to say I was depressed because I was never diagnosed, but just sad constantly all the time about nothing, about life. I gained about 30 pounds in 7 months. And I started to turn to food for comfort. So emotional eating was my jam, still is my jam sometimes, it's definitely something that you battle with, I think, lifelong. I don't think people just like stop emotionally eating. I think we just become more conscious of it. And so that was my life, my first year teaching. It was anxiety. It was binge eating. It was feeling like I was starting to resent the one thing I thought I was meant to do. Like I thought I was meant to do this the rest of my life, and started to resent it. And it was awful. It was the worst feeling in the world because it made me feel like I was a failure. Like, why do I not love this the way that I thought I was going to? Granted, I was commuting an hour and a half one way. So I was commuting 3 hours a day. I had 36 first graders. So 1 to 36 was rough. And then my husband was trying to get into the police academy. So we were basically only living off of one salary. So we were living off my first year teaching salary. We racked up about $10,000 of credit card debt trying to just survive. And it was freaking hard. But there's one thing about my husband and I, if you guys know the Enneagram, we're both type 1s. So we're like perfectionists and like very like critical of ourselves and kind of critical of other people, but like in a loving way most of the time. But we will prove people wrong. Like someone tells that, like negativity fuels us 100%. So a bunch of people thought like we would be back to Colorado, like we weren't going to make it. And we were like, heck no, like we are going to make it. We're going to figure this out. But there was a point where it was in January. It was right after Christmas in 2016 into 2017. And Curtis still hadn't heard if he was in the academy. And I remember us thinking like, we're probably going to have to move in with his parents in Arizona because we didn't think we could afford rent anymore. And it was literally on the drive back, he got the phone call that he was accepted into the academy. So it was like so weird. The Orange County Sheriff's Academy is arguably one of the hardest academies in the country. It's still one of the only ones that has a high physical and mental stress component. There's some academies where like if, their tactical officers like get in their face and like yell at them, it's like boot camp. But there's some places where you can like basically like pull a red card. Like if you're getting too stressed out, you can like make them stop. But like, which I think is so dumb. But like at this academy, it's like they don't stop. Like it's, it's the same like on the streets, like someone's in your face when you're a cop, they're not going to stop. So that was his life for 6 months in the academy. So he was dealing with that. I was dealing with my teaching position in the projects, commuting 3 hours a day. And it was just it was rock bottom. And I had gained so much weight and I felt so uncomfortable in my skin and I was so burned out. And I just thought like, this is just how life was going to be. Like, I honestly had like accepted that like people go to college, get a job that they don't necessarily love, but they don't necessarily like hate because they have to pay the bills and then they just live for the weekend. Like, I just thought that's what it was meant to happen. Like, I just thought that was like what being an adult was. And in February of 2017, I went to the doctor and, in the doctor's office, she told me that I needed to lose about 30 pounds in order to be healthy. And that's when I kind of hit my rock bottom. When I kind of realized I had been kind of like lying to myself that everything would be fine and that everything would be okay. But when I heard it from someone else that like I needed to get healthy, that was kind of my moment of like, okay, I need to do something about this. So when I left the doctor's office, she actually wrote on the patient summary form, find a new job. The commute isn't good for you. And I was just like, holy smokes. Like, first of all, I have a doctor's note to quit my job. Like, that's pretty rad. But I wasn't going to just up and leave my students. So I was like, I'm going to finish out the year, but I'm going to find something else. But at that time, I was like, hey, I'm going to first focus on my health. I'm going to focus on me. And I was on the Explore page on Instagram one night. And this is what's so crazy to me, you guys, is like we show up in the exact moment. Jamie and I talked about this last night on our call. Like, we show up in the exact moment that someone needs us. Like, you know, you could be saying the same thing over and over and over again, and people are like watching you and seeing it, but they're not really like listening until like their rock bottom or their moment where they really need you to show up, and you show up, like, you can literally save their life. And that was like the moment of me meeting my coach, Ashley Feldyson. I was on the Explore page on Instagram, wasn't following her, nothing. And I saw her transformation picture. And at the time she had lost 30 pounds. And I was like, dang, like, I look like her on the left and I want to look like her on the right. And I was so sick of like being a shell of myself, you guys. Like, I had no light in my eyes anymore. I couldn't remember the last time I like belly laughed. I like couldn't even remember what my smile looked like. Like, I remember, it sounds so ridiculous, but I'm sure there's people on this call that understand. Like, I would look in the mirror and smile and be like, that's not my smile. And like, I couldn't like get my smile. Like, I couldn't figure out where my smile was. And that was like my moment of like, I need to figure something out. Like, there's something just like not right. And so all I did when I saw Ashley's picture was I liked it. I just double tapped and I kept scrolling. I didn't follow her. I didn't message her. I didn't fill out the link in her bio. I didn't comment. I didn't vote on a poll. Like, none of that shit. I just double tapped. And the next day she was in my inbox with an invite. So she invited me to her challenge group. I said yes right away. Like, I was probably the easiest 2 Success Club points she could have ever gotten. But I quit 2 weeks later. And so this is like the part of my story that I make sure I tell everyone, because I am your worst nightmare as a challenger. Like, literally your worst nightmare. I'm the girl that buys the challenge pack and then like gives you all the excuses and never actually uses it and like disappears, right? So I quit 2 weeks later, was like, I'm all in. I like bought Energize. I had like a 3-day refresh. I remember trying to do a 3-day refresh when I was teaching. And I was like, Lord have mercy, I'm so hungry. Like, I was just like, I cannot do this. Because I was teaching from like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I was like, oh my God, this is miserable. I did not finish it. I don't even think I made it a day. I was like dabbling in workouts, but not committed to a program. I wasn't sticking to the meal plan Ashley had given me. And I gave up after 2 weeks. And I said, at-home workouts don't work. I said, Shakeology is an overpriced protein shake. I said, like, that's great for you, but it's not for me. I had pulled the line, well, I just need to go to the gym. Like, I just need to be in the gym in order to get results. But like, y'all, I hadn't worked out in a gym for like years. Like, I didn't go to the gym. So whenever I hear that excuse, I'm like, but do you actually go? Like, I don't know if you do. Like, I love when people are like, oh, I actually have a gym membership. I'm like, yeah, so did I, but I didn't use it. And so I had all the excuses, but I watched my coach every single day for the next 9 months. Every single day, you guys. I was typing in her name into the search bar. I was seeing what she posted that day. I was watching her stories every single day. Like, I was such a fangirl, and she was just there for me. Like, she would text me once in a while and like remind me that I could jump back in. She was like my fitness person. I didn't even think of her as like my Beachbody coach. She was like my fitness person. So like, I'd get a personal trainer and I would text her about it and be like, I just got a personal trainer. I'm so excited. And every single time she would be like, I'm so glad you're finding something that works for you. I'm so glad you're finding something that works for you. I'm so glad you're finding something that works for you. Every time I was trying something different. Never like shaming me or like making me feel guilty or like never ghosting me, nothing. She was always there for me. So when I ended up finding a new job, I started teaching near Compton in Huntington Park in LA. And I was teaching middle school literacy. I was a middle school literacy specialist my last year of teaching. And I will say things got better. I loved my students. I loved middle school. Like, everyone's always like, oh geez, like, you taught middle school? And I'm like, I loved it because they kind of like the 8th graders, like, kind of felt like my tribe. Like, it was like so weird. Like, they were so funny. Like, they just cracked me up. Like, I coached middle school basketball, so I got to know the girls on like a different level, I think. And it was like I was like their big sister. And I think that's what was so cool to me, is like I was like this mentor, and like, they bullied me. Oh, I got bullied. Like, I was also only one of the only white teachers at the school. So it was an adjustment in the beginning when I had the very first day I showed up, you guys, I showed up and I was like, good morning, and all this stuff, and this kid raises his hand, and he goes, Miss, do you support the KKK? And I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And I was like, no, why? Like, why would you ask that? And he's like, because you're white. And I was like, all right, so this is how this year is going to go. So like they tested me for sure, but I think that's how I got like such this like deep love for them, because we like went through so much together those first couple months. And you know, I loved them to death. They were the only reason I stayed in teaching as long as I did, like the only reason. So but even though I loved them, and I honestly loved my school so much more, and, you know, I felt better, I was still as heavy as I had been. Like nothing I had been trying was working. And I still felt like I was made for more. Like I just felt like my purpose was on the outside of those four walls of that classroom. Like I just felt like I was being so boxed in, and like I could only make an impact in those four walls. And for me, it wasn't enough. And if you teach in a low income area with like 14-year-olds, you kind of get this sense of feeling that you don't feel like you're actually making a difference sometimes. As sad as it is, you know, when they're 14, they're getting initiated into gangs, and I had a couple basketball girls steal from the gas station on their lunch break. And it just, you know, it's very, very defeating a lot of times. Even though you feel like you are making a difference and you are being that positive role model in their life, it doesn't feel like it all the time. So I really felt like I needed to feel like I was making almost like an immediate impact on the world, and not just one long term maybe. So I remember it so clearly on December 1st, 2017. I just looked around my classroom, and you guys, I hadn't talked to Ashley in like a month and a half probably since I got engaged. So I got engaged in October, and I remember her congratulating me, and I don't think I talked to her after that. And I just was sitting there, and I was just like, this is it. Like, this is going to be my life the rest of my life. Like I'm 24 years old, and this is just what my life is going to look like forever. I'm going to be commuting over an hour each way. I'm going to be, you know, in a job that I don't hate, but am not passionate about and don't feel fulfilled in. And I just wasn't okay with that. And it's like the weirdest thing. I remember thinking like, oh, I'll go back to school, or I'll, you know, go back to be a counselor, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. And then I just literally was like, I think I'm gonna be a Beachbody coach. Like, I don't know what it was, but I had been watching Ashley for so long, and she used to be a teacher, and I watched her show up every single day. And I just thought like, I think I'm gonna be a Beachbody coach. Like I need to get fit. I need to get healthy. And I have tried to do that on my own, but I need to have more accountability. So when I first signed up, it was more of like an outlet, and more of a, I tried to lose the weight as a challenger before, and it didn't work. Like I didn't stick to it. So I need to be a coach in order to show up for other people, because I won't show up for just myself. Like I just knew myself. And so I was like, if I'm a coach, and I remember telling my mom and Curtis this, like, if I'm a coach, like I have to work out. Like people are going to know. It didn't matter. Like at the time I only had 500 followers. So I was like, those 500 people are going to know if I don't show up. Or like, you know, these people that I show up on Instagram, like they're going to know. And so that was my mindset going in. And I knew that it was possible to leave my job, but I thought like maybe like a year from now, or like 2 years from now, I was actually still in like my probationary period. And then I put my back up against the wall and left after that year. So I never finished out my probationary period. So I never finished my credential, which was scary, because that means like if I ever needed to go back to teaching, I would have to go back to school. But back against the wall, like no other option, I needed to make this work. So I think like when I just realized what the potential of this business was, is when I just went all in. Like I pretty much went all in from day one, because I was so determined to like get myself healthy. And I was like, this is going to change my life. And I don't know how, or I don't know why yet, but I'm going to bring all these people along with me, and I'm going to help other people change their lives too. And so I was just like, just tell me what to do. Like I just told Ashley, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And so she told me, you know, hit Emerald, done, did it in 24 hours, hit Diamond. This is where I'm like, diamond is not hard, but we overcomplicate it all the time. Like guys, I didn't have a transformation. I was at my heaviest weight I had ever been. I was a burned out teacher that like was just like deciding she was going to be a Beachbody coach out of nowhere. And I hit diamond in 3 weeks because my coach said, get 8 coaches, discount coaches, and then help 2 get to emerald. And I was like, okay. And so I did it. Like, it was like, I didn't even think about it. And now it's like the network overcomplicates diamond like so much. Like, oh my God, it's 8 people. I'm like, y'all, it's 8 people. Like we can get 8 people. I got 8 people, and it was, I was just excited. Like, I was just excited about what I was doing. It was like, you want to do this with me? You want to do it with me? Do you want to do it with me? Like, I don't have a transformation yet. I don't really know if it's going to work, but I'm going to make sure it works. And what's so
hey, Kate, I just have a question. Were those 8 people that you knew or strangers you were reaching out to?
A mix of both. They were people that like were on my Instagram. So like within the 500 followers, whoever they were. So what was I gonna say? Oh, one thing I want to point out with like when I just like decided to go all in because I had seen Ashley, I just like pretty much copied what Ashley was doing. Like I had watched her stories all the time. So I was like, okay, well, Ashley posts her workouts, so I'm going to post my workouts. Ashley posts about her shake, so I'm going to post about my shake. Like I was posting the same like type of content, obviously not copying her stuff, but I was just like mimicking, I was duplicating what she was doing. And that's what I think we really need to teach our coaches is just like, you've been watching me for how long? Like, what you need to be posting, but like in your own way. And so I was waking up at 4:00 in the morning to work out. And every single day, my followers knew they were getting a picture or a boomerang of me stirring my Energize with the timestamp of 4:00 in the morning. It was like, it was right on it each time. So 4:00 in the morning was my workout. 6:00, I was out of the house by 6 because of my commute, taught all day long, came home and worked my business for like 2 hours. And I was the busiest I had ever been, but I was the most fulfilled I had ever been in my entire life because I was a full-time teacher, I was planning a wedding, I was the middle school basketball coach, I was on 2 leadership committees, now I'm starting my fitness journey and this coaching business. Like I did not need another thing on my to-do list, but I needed this more than life. Like this was like my breath of fresh air. One thing like I was going to say is that one part of Ashley's story that I really want to bring up because it's just crazy to me and she doesn't share it enough. But in August of 2017, so a couple months before I decided to sign up, she filled out her application to go back to teaching. Like she was going to give up on this business. And oh my God, I think I'm going to cry. She was going to give up because it was hard. Like she wasn't even making like enough money to pay for her bills. And she was like, I'm going to have to go back to teaching. And she didn't show that on social media. I actually didn't know that until like a few months later. But she didn't go through with it. And she decided like, no, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to show up for the other Ashleys of the world. And like, what if she would have given up in August? Like, I wouldn't be here. I would have been like, well, that girl gave up. Like, it obviously didn't work for her, so it's not going to work for me. And so, like, you guys just never know, like, who's watching you, even though you feel like no one is, or you feel like it's crickets, or you feel like no one, you're not getting traction. Like, if you give up, you're holding people back from, their potential. Like, forget yourself for a second. You're holding yourself back from your potential if you give up. But, like, if you give up, you're holding other people back from theirs. And, like, that's unfair. Like, that's totally unfair. Like, what if, like, I want you guys to think about this. Like, what if you quit today? What if you filled out your coach cancellation form today and there's another you saying, okay, when Kate posts her stories tomorrow about her boot camp, I'm going to sign up. Or the next time Kate invites me, I'm going to sign up. But you quit. So you're not going to invite her again. Or you're not going to post that post again. Like, that freaking sucks. Like, that freaking sucks. And so I just think all the time, like, thank God Ashley didn't give up. Thank God. Or else, like I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be living this life that I'm living. A lot of, thousands of people on our team wouldn't be living the life they're living. So I just really wanted to like share that with you guys because there are going to be times in this business when you feel like quitting. And most of the time it's going to be on the last day of the month. because you aren't at Success Club or you haven't hit that goal that you set for yourself. What if someone said, okay, when I get paid May 3rd, I'm going to sign up. When I get paid this Friday, I'm going to sign up. But you quit today. Like, how crappy is that? So crappy. So I kind of have like 5 points. That was a bonus point. I have 5 other points that I wanted to just kind of bring up with mindset, just to kind of like, you guys, like, it is not over till it's over, right? We're still pushing until it's midnight Eastern time, okay? So just a couple things. I know there's some new coaches on here, and this will resonate more with the new coaches. And then also the coaches that like you're stepping into maybe some leadership roles, go before you're ready. Go before you're ready. I did not know what diamond was. I didn't even like really care what diamond was. I just told Ashley, tell me what to do. And I thrived off recognition. So she said, hit diamond. I said, okay, go before you're ready. You're never going to be ready. You're never going to be ready in this business. Stop going into trainings and thinking, well, if I know this secret or I have this thing or I need to find out exactly how she's doing that or doing this, like, stop. Go before you're ready. Brendan Burchard said like the best quote I'd ever heard. He says lots of good quotes, but he said like when talking to billionaires and talking to investors and talking to like multi-billion-dollar CEOs, and he asks them, what's the secret? One of them said, go when you're 40% sure. 40%. Like, you're not even like halfway sure. Like, go when you're 40% sure. Go when you feel like this might be a good idea. Go do it, because you're not going to know unless you try. Right. And if you honor that impulse that like, I'm not really sure if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it and see if it works, and then fail forward. If it fails, so what? If you guys haven't read it yet, you need to read the book Wolfpack by Abby Wambach, because she talks about failure, and she's just like, so many women, like specifically women, are afraid of failure. It's like paralyzing to us. But instead of being afraid of it, like, let it fuel you. Like, she talks about how the U.S. women's soccer team, they have a picture when you leave the locker room. There's a giant picture of when I think it was Norway, I don't know, some team in the 90s beat them in the World Cup. And they have a picture of them celebrating their win, Norway or whatever country it was. And that's the last thing they see when they leave the locker room. And when she asks, like, why is that the last thing you see? It's because that failure fuels you to go out on the field and do better. Right? Like, and it's so true. Like, if you have the mindset that like, well, that sucked, or like that was a setback, and I'm going to make sure that never happens again. For example, dropping rank. If you drop rank, like, get it back. Like, it's as simple as just get it back. Like, just don't dwell on it and use it to fuel you. And then go when you're not ready. So go when you're not ready, fail forward, and let that failure fuel you onto the next thing. If you like she said, a champion doesn't allow short-term failure to put her out of a long-term game, right? A champion does not allow a short-term failure to put her out of a long-term game. And this business is a long-term game, you guys. You need to have bigger vision than just like this month or this year or next year. Like, people say be here a year from now. Be here 5 years from now. Be here 10 years from now. Like, can you imagine all the lives that you could change in the next 5 years? That's incredible when you actually think about it. So think about this as a long-term game. You not hitting Success Club 1 month, like, yeah, that sucks. You need to be hitting Success Club. But guess what? You have another month, and you'll have another month. You'll have another month, and you'll continue to have more months where you can hit more goals, but only if you stay in the game. If you quit, you don't have any more months left. All right. So that was kind of a bonus point again about failure, but basically go when you're not ready and stop being afraid of failure. Number 2 is control the controllable. I have so many coaches, and for so long when I was a new coach, I was like trying to control everything. Like, oh my God, this person's going inactive. I need to make sure she doesn't go inactive, or this person or that person's not doing something, or this person didn't show up, or this blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to control everything. when really we can only, like, what is the one thing we can't control in this business, you guys? Like, in the chat, what's the one thing we can't really control in this business? Yeah, other people, right? Other people, other people's actions. We can't control if so-and-so is going to hit Emerald. We can't control if Sally's going to hit Diamond. We can't control if so-and-so is going to hit Success Club, but we can control what we do and how we show up. So if you can go to bed every single night knowing that you controlled the controllable and you did everything in your power in order to move your business forward, then you had a successful day. It doesn't matter if someone signs up. Like, you can't control if someone clicks yes to purchase on their share cart, right? You can control that you did your tracker. So the Success Club system tracker, gold. You need to follow it. You can control that you sent your invites. You can control that you showed up on social media. You can control that you got your workout in. You can control the food you put in your mouth. You can control all these things. And if you can lay your head down on your pillow at night and say, I controlled everything I could control today, then you're doing right by your business and moving it forward. So control the controllable. The rest will fall into place. You cannot, I hate when people ask me, how do you get coaches to hit Success Club? How do you get coaches to Diamond so quickly? How do you get, I'm like, they get themselves. I give them the tools. My upline gives them the tools they need in order to be successful, but they're the ones that need to get themselves there. I don't get coaches anywhere. They get themselves there, and I mentor them along the way, and I'm running alongside them. But I also have my own business to focus on, right? If you're counting on people all the time, you guys, I'm sorry, but you cannot count on people in this business. You might think that so-and-so is going to be a rock star or so-and-so will never quit. Most likely that's the person that quits. Like, I've had 3 people now, which isn't a lot, but it's kind of a lot in like the last 15 months that I've been a coach, that have been literally an emerald from Diamond and quit. An emerald. And most of the time it's like their spouse. So, so close to Diamond and they quit. And I thought, I was banking on him. Like, that girl's going to hit Diamond. Like, that girl's going to be super successful. And she quits. And I poured so much of my energy into that person, counting on them, that I forgot about all these other people over here, or all the people that I don't have yet. I was counting on them, so I didn't really need to send invites that day because that girl was going to hit Diamond, so no big deal, right? You can't control that. You need to control your own actions. And it gets harder as you become a leader because you want to, help your coaches hit Success Club. You want your coaches to see success. You want your coaches to stick around, so you want them to gain traction, but you can't control what they do. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them hit Success Club, right? Like, you can't make anybody do anything. So you have to just make sure you're controlling the controllable, okay? And when you lie down at night, I want you guys to reflect, like, when you lie down tonight, I want you to think, did I do everything I could in order to hit Success Club in April? Did I do everything I could in order to move my business forward today? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, do better tomorrow. Okay? It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a bad coach. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It means be better tomorrow than you were yesterday. That's all. Like, think about it in your fitness journey, you guys. Like, you eat a freaking donut. Like, I know that we're all Beachbody coaches, so we somewhat have the same mindset that, like, eating a donut is not going to throw you off your game, like, ruin all the progress you've made. You're just going to wake up tomorrow and do better, right? It's just like Chelsea Pearson shared this one time. Like, it's like brushing your teeth. If you forgot to brush your teeth for a week, you don't just give up and never brush your teeth again. You just pick up your toothbrush and you brush your teeth, right? You just do better than you did yesterday. So control the controllable and don't beat yourself up about it, but also hold yourself accountable, because there's not going to be someone that holds your hand along the way. You need to show up for yourself and your business. The next one is recognize that your excuses are excuses. And this is something I have to do all the time. I did it to myself today. I was like, oh my gosh, this morning was crazy because I had to take the dogs to my in-laws and then the people were coming to do our backyard. So I couldn't leave to go to the gym. I had to stay here for the people doing the backyard. And then Curtis was coming home. And then, I had these calls, and then Curtis and I were going to go to dinner tonight. So I just wasn't going to be able to get my workout in. And I was literally sitting on the couch scrolling on Instagram. And I was like, Oh my God, I'm literally making the biggest excuse. I've been scrolling on Instagram for 20 minutes and I have like an hour and a half before I need to be on this call. So what did I do? First, I called myself out on Instagram because I use Instagram as my accountability partner. And it was actually funny because I was like, I'm making excuses. And if you're sitting on the couch watching my stories right now and you haven't gotten your workout in, you're making excuses too, so go get your sweat on. And I actually had people tag me in their stories, and they're like, Kate called me out on her Instagram stories without knowing it. And so like I went and I got my workout in. It wasn't an actual reason why I couldn't get my workout in, right? Recognize when your excuses are excuses, okay? You guys need to get good at that. Because if you are calling other people out on their excuses, you better be able to call yourself out on yours. And sometimes I think coaches are the worst with making excuses. Like, make sure that you're not being a hypocrite, because I think coaches are some of the worst hypocrites sometimes, right? Like, we get so comfortable. So we need to make sure we're not making excuses, and whether that's in your own health and fitness journey or that's in your business. You guys, it takes me 28 minutes. I have timed myself multiple times. Literally every time it's 28 minutes. I'm not joking. To send 62 invites. It takes me 28 minutes. Do you guys have half an hour in your day to send 60 invites? Probably. It's probably the time you're spending scrolling on Instagram before you go to bed, or when you wake up in the morning and you're scrolling on Instagram because you're like waiting to get out of bed. You're like, I really don't want to get out of bed. Like, you could be sending invites. Every time I find myself tracking every time I see myself scrolling, I start sending invites. I'm like, why am I scrolling? I don't know why I'm scrolling. I should be sending invites. You guys, I'm sending invites to people that follow me, people that watch my stories, and people that like my posts. And I have tons of inviting training on YouTube, so I'm not going to get into it because it is a deep, dark hole to talk about inviting. But if they're watching my stories, liking my posts, or following me, they're getting an invite. So sending invites. But recognize your excuses are excuses, because very rarely do we actually have a reason. Very rarely is there an actual legitimate reason why we can't do something. So if you guys are ever making an excuse, remember my words to you. Is this an excuse or is this an actual reason? Because we'll try to reason with ourselves. I see it all the time in myself and in my coaches. Like, we try to reason with ourselves and be like, I really need to listen to my body. Like, I'm so tired today. I just need to, there's a difference between listening to my body and like, making an excuse. And then like an hour later, I see a coach like making their energized. And they're like, yeah, I feel better. Like, they're just like, yep, that was an excuse. Like, I'm calling myself out. So, really recognize that. All right. Next thing is second to last thing. Stop walking off the track before the race is done. Stop walking off the track before the race is done. It's like, it just baffles me that like 3 days ago, I was talking to my team about hitting Success Club, and they're like, yeah, I didn't hit it this month, but like, I'll do better next month. And I'm like, the month isn't over. A lot can happen in 4 days, 5 days. You guys, a lot can happen in a few hours. Okay. It's not over till it's over. It's not over till that clock hits midnight. You have no idea what could happen. And control the controllable. Did you do everything you could do in order to move your business forward? Okay, it's not over till it's over. Stop giving up before the race is over. It's like, who can tell me how many miles are in a marathon? 20 something point something. Can someone put that in the chat? 26.2. Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. So if you're running a marathon and it's 26.2 miles, it's like you're going and you hit 26 miles and you walk off. You like forget about the 0.2, right? Like, you just like give up before you even cross the finish line, and you already ran 26. So you might as well finish the 0.2. So stop walking off the track before you get to the finish line, because it's never over till it's over. And if you have long-term vision with this business, then you'll never give up. Like, success is the only option. And the only way you're going to fail is if you quit. That's really the only way you're going to fail, if you walk off the track. Okay, and then my last thing is belief. You guys probably have belief in the products, or else you wouldn't be on this call, because you wouldn't be coaches. So, you obviously believe the products work because you've seen them work for someone else, or they're working for you, or, you believe in the products. You obviously believe in the coaching opportunity, or else you wouldn't be a coach. So you see something there, whether it's to hold yourself accountable, to pay for your own products, to build a 6-figure business. Like, people or have seen people do it. So you believe it can happen. But do you believe in yourself? Because that's the part that coaches are missing. They know that it can happen for someone else. They believe that this can happen for someone else, but they have zero belief in themselves. They have so much doubt. You guys, if you struggle with doubt, or if you struggle with doubt, you need to read the book Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. It is a kick in the pants that you need. Grant Cardone is just king, first of all. But he says, you need to get rid of the doubt, because the doubt is taking up all the space where your belief needs to be. You need to get rid of the doubt, ASAP. And we have control over the doubt, you guys. We have control over the fact if we believe in ourselves or not. It's a simple choice, but it's so hard to get there. That's where you need to focus in on that personal development. If you have so much doubt wrapped up in you that you could be successful, or you could see yourself at the finish line, you need to dive into some personal development, because you need to get rid of that doubt as fast as possible. And if it takes riding on the coattails of somebody else's belief for you to get there, then do it. Ashley believed in me before I ever believed in myself. And your coach, whether, they say, I'm really bad at recognition, for other people. I'm really bad at telling people I'm proud of them. I'm really bad at, recognizing people for the amazing things they're doing. I think it in my head, but I forget to say it out loud. So even if your coach isn't telling you they believe in you, they do, or else they wouldn't be your mentor. Even my coaches that, they've been around for as long as I've been around and have never hit Success Club, but they're still there. I believe there's something there because they're still around. If they could have quit a long time ago, but they're still here, and I believe in them. And when they decide to take the action it takes in order to get themselves there, they're going to start to believe in themselves even more. But I can believe in you all damn day, but I cannot get you to do the action, and neither can your coach. You have to work on belief in yourself. And once when you change that first life, or that first person tells you that they're inspired by you, or, someone tells you that they're proud of you, or you have these little wins, these little breadcrumbs of wins, these little pebbles that you start to add to your pile, that belief starts to get bigger. And then you no longer have to ride on the coattails of somebody else's belief. And now you can start to, fill yourself up with belief to be able to spill over into other people. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have so much belief in this. So much belief that literally anybody can be successful. Literally anyone. This business doesn't discriminate. You guys, I didn't have a transformation. I was the heaviest I had ever been in my entire life. And I hit Success Club 40 in my first month as a coach with 500 followers, no transformation, but I had a burn in my belly to change people's lives. And I had the opportunity and the platform to do so because I was passionate. And I had belief that this was going to work if I showed up. You just have to have that part. You just have to, you can work your butt off. I've seen this firsthand with my coaches. You can send 100 invites a day. You can show up all the time. You can get the results. You can do all the things on the tracker and still not hit Success Club. It can happen. I believe people to an extent when they say they're doing all the things and they're not hitting Success Club, and I kind of see them doing all the things. I'm yeah, you're right. You are doing all the things, but do you believe that you can be successful? Where's that belief sitting right now? Are you telling yourself you're discouraged? Are you telling yourself that you're struggling? Are you telling yourself that everyone's saying no? Are you telling yourself all these negative things, but still trying to do the action? The universe, God, whatever you believe in, is going to deliver whatever you're focusing on. So if you're focusing on all this negativity and all this doubt and all this I can't be successful, then the universe is okay, she's not ready. She's not ready. But when you start to flip the script and you start to really believe in what you have to offer, and the fact that you have a gift to offer people to the world, like the universe is like, okay, she's good. Now we can start to place the good things in her life. Now we can start, the universe is going to put up walls to make sure that you actually really want it, that you actually believe in yourself, but you've got to get your mind right. And you've got to get rid of that doubt as quickly as possible. I haven't read this book yet, but I'm reading it with my team because it's been a big recommendation for, the fear of failure or the fear of success. And it's called The Big Leap. It has like a little goldfish jumping out. And it's about like conquering your hidden fear of like doubt and failure and fear of success and all the things. So I haven't read it yet, so I don't really know, but I'm going to read it this month with my team. And you guys just have to like watch what you're telling yourself. Like watch what you are saying to yourself, because if you are saying, especially at the end of the month, if you're saying like everyone's saying no, the universe is like, okay, everyone's going to say no from now on. Like it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. I didn't believe in this stuff like before I started coaching. But if you start to tell yourself, like I always tell myself, like I'm going to change one life today. I'm going to change one life today. I'm going to change one life today. And I show up and I do the actions in order to change one life today. Maybe I didn't change that one life today, because there are days, you guys, when I send 100 invites and no one responds. Or they're like all coaches, I swear. Coaches that I'm like, why is your profile private? But there are days like that. But instead of me focusing on that, because a lot of times like my team doesn't know that, I send all these invites and I do all these things, and like people tell me no too. People make excuses. People are rude to me too. But the thing is, I don't focus on it. I focus on all the good. I focus on the fact that I have the opportunity to change somebody's life today. And so that's what I attract more of, but also that's why my team never hears about it. And I think personally, I need to do a better job of, I don't even think I need to do a better job of telling them that, because I don't want them to focus on that. So I don't even want to bring it up, because I'm like, don't focus on it. Like, yeah, someone was a jackwagon to me today, but I'm not focusing on it. Like I'm focusing on all the good. I'm focusing on all the good things that are happening. And that's what I teach my team to do. So just remember, like, think about what you're telling yourself, you guys. Think about, are you telling yourself you're struggling? Okay, well, that's why, because you're telling yourself you're struggling. You might be struggling. You might feel that, but guess what? You're the only person telling yourself that you're struggling. You're the only one telling yourself that. I'm not coming to you and say like, hey, Jamie, you're struggling today. Like I'm not doing that. You're the only one telling yourself that. It's the same with like overwhelm. You're the only one telling yourself that you're overwhelmed. What you tell yourself is truth, even if it's not. What you tell yourself is truth. And so you guys have to watch the way you're talking to yourselves, and you have to believe in yourselves. Like you have to believe in your core that this is going to work for you. If you show up every single day, if you do all the things, if you believe in yourself, and if you just like really decide that you're not going to give up, because this opportunity is literally limitless. Like you can accomplish anything. It's insane. Like we got that the Beachbody Monopoly game. And I was looking at the money and I'm like, this is how I feel like when I get paid on Thursdays. I'm like, it doesn't feel real. Like it feels like I'm in a dream. And the coolest part is like, it's not. Like it's real life. But I always tell Curtis, like our paychecks feel like Monopoly money. Because it's like I never would have imagined being compensated to do something that I love, that changes people's lives, and to be compensated in the way that we are. You guys got to take control of that. Even if it's $50. Like the fact that you made an extra, like I definitely recommend you guys talk about money. I'm giving you guys all sorts of random tips. I'm about over my time too. But talk about money. You don't have to talk about it in a gross way. You don't have to make like 6 figures to be able to talk about money. I talk about the same story over and over again. Jamie probably knows what it is, but it's about dog food. Like literally, I could not afford to buy the big bag of dog food one week, probably multiple weeks, but I remember one week specifically where if I bought the big bag of dog food, I'd overdraft my account and we were out of dog food. So I had to buy the small bag of dog food and couldn't afford the big bag of dog food. And I had to put it on my credit card that was almost maxed out. And so I talk about that all the time. Like, what could an extra $50 do for you this week? Pay for that big bag of dog food. That big bag of dog food's like $55. Blue Buffalo. Bubba and Zoe are spoiled. But, like talk about those things. Like you don't have to make a lot of money, right? I talked about one time, I got one of my top coaches because I talked about how I was able to pay for my car insurance. You know, and I was just like a teacher. I remember it. I was like commuting. I was sitting in LA traffic, literally not moving. And I was like, I got to pay for my car insurance today with this coaching thing. And you guys, she messaged me. She had told me no for months, like 4 or 5 months. And she messaged me off my stories, because you know how you can see when people like reply to your stories. It was like this paragraph off my stories about how she was rock bottom, how she couldn't afford to even buy her Starbucks this morning, and she was all in. And I was like, whoa, like that's never happened before, because I was a new coach. I was like, that's weird. But she talks about it to this day. Like, you said you could pay for your car insurance, and mine was due that week, and I couldn't even afford my Starbucks that morning. And when you said that, I was in. Like, think about the little things that people struggle with, like paying for their groceries, not being able to go on date night, diapers, formula, like things that people struggle to pay for. That's what people are looking for solutions for. They're not looking to build a 6-figure business right away most of the time. They're looking for the relatable things. I can't even talk about my income like in the big scheme of things anymore, because it's not relatable. And honestly, if I saw my income progression on someone's social media, I think it was a scam. So I talk about the small things. I talk about how I was able, I talk about the big things, but I talk about like how I was able to build this with hustle and be able to build a dream life of financial freedom and be able to bring Curtis home to work with me and be able to lead teaching. And I celebrate the big things, but I also remind people of the small things, because the small things are what gets people interested. I had a coach that wanted to just pay for her cell phone bill. She's like, I want to be a coach because I want to pay for my cell phone bill. And I was like, cool, how much is your cell phone bill? And she told me, I was like, hey, you need to sign up 5 people a month to pay for your cell phone bill. And she has not missed Success Club 10 since. And she's almost a diamond coach. And now she's like, I think I want to pay for more than just my cell phone bill. Like, it's just, it's the small things in everyday life that people are craving some kind of solution. So that is what I got. That was a lot.
I mean, that's a lot. And you are amazing. Like, literally speechless, but you are incredible. Thank you for all of that. You guys, we're not going to waste too much of our time. If anyone has burning questions that are not like specific to like go find on YouTube, then I'm sure she'll answer it. But I want to congratulate you on retiring your hubby today. He just came home. So that is, so huge, so cool. And I've loved running with you, and you inspire me. And like, it's just really awesome to see you do this business the way that you have. And like, I hope that it inspires the shit out of all of you guys, because this is not about one person. This is not about 2 people. This is about thousands and thousands of people that are doing this business because they just wanted to and they decided. And the whole, we talk about it all the time, the mindset, the confidence, the belief, like we could say it 100 times till we're all blue in the face, but like, it is the truth that and what she just said. Like, if you watch Kate's stories from day one to now, like, yes, her confidence has grown, but she was still confident on day one, not with like where she was at physically, but just like what she was doing. And I think that is the most important part of it. What?
Yeah, like, be confident where you're going. Like,
yeah.
I was so confident like this was going to work for me, because I didn't give the option of failure. Like, be confident in where you're at, but be more confident where you're going.
Totally. And like, I think I could send the exact same invite as all of you guys. But if I have more belief and more confidence in that script, even if it's the exact same script, I will win. I will get more. I will succeed because I have more belief and more confidence. So that is what the name of the game is. And I'm so happy you touched on that, because that's, why I know obviously your hustle, of course, but your belief from day one. And she has hustled you guys 65 invites every single day, non-negotiable. She does it on a notepad, like paper, and you can watch all of her trainings. They're all there, but we don't need any more trainings. Like, it's just do the shit. And I want to thank you again for your time, because I know you're always on the calls. So thank you. And I'm excited to see you in a couple months. Summit's happening. And just thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You're the best. I will chat with you soon. If you guys want to stay, well, let's take a real quick picture. Oh my God, you guys, my dad, I posted a transformation picture today. He goes, I love you, but please put some clothes on. I go, huh?